I want to give a disclosure to everybody who is watching live before we get started with introductions, and let them know that because we are doing a Zoom call and that it's streaming to Facebook, we can't see your comments, but we want you to make them. So your comments are going to be sent on to us, and your questions will be too. And I'm really encouraging people to send their questions in, to engage. You're part of an audience, and we want to know your reactions, and you're part of the conversation. And so it's not just me talking, and it's not just Jarah and I chit-chatting. We're part of a community, which is the point. So we'll go ahead and get started. As you all know, I'm Hannah Legree, and I am here today with Jarah Jones, and we are going to talk about a wide range of things. We're going to talk about children, creativity, the arts, community engagement, and we may go in various directions. We also want to hear some of your ideas on some of the ideas that we're bringing up, because we know that people are at home and they're being creative in different ways, and they're engaging with their children and their communities in different ways and involve the arts. So we're part of a group conversation with you. As you all may know, Jarah is an educator, an artist, a parent, and she also owns Art Play Children's Studio, which is where she is now. Jarah, I'm going to give you a little bit of space to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to ask you some questions and we'll go into the conversation.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be on your show. Happy to be here. So I'm Jarah Jones. I am owner and one of the teachers at Art Play Children's Studio. Art Play has been a giant dream of mine for many, many years. And we have been open for 2.5 years, but it was thought of way, way before. Before Art Play, I was also a teacher. I've been a teacher for 20 years in different pedagogies, Montessori, Waldorf.
I'm going to pause you. We didn't go live.
No, are you serious?
Breakout. We got stuck.
Wait, now it's streaming not live.
And now it's going live. Okay, let's see. My campaign manager is like, everything okay? Now we're live. All right, everybody. In our minds, Jarah and I have been live for many moments. We want to apologize for the delay, but we got a little bit of a head start on our conversation today. And that's my fault. We got stuck buffering. As you all know, my name is Hannah Legree, and I'm here with Jarah Jones. I'm so glad to have her as my guest. And we are here to talk to you all about the arts, about creativity, about education, children, and engaging with your community. So you all may know, if you've ever participated in something like this, you can send in comments, and then your comments are going to be sent on to us. And I really encourage you to be part of this conversation. I'm so grateful to have Jarah with, someone just said you're live. I'm so grateful to have Jarah with me today. And Jarah, I want to ask you to introduce yourself one more time to our greater audience.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to be here. So thank you, Hannah. I'm Jarah. I am the owner and one of the teachers of Art Play Children's Studio. We are a studio that kind of just nurtures children and adults sometimes in their just creative journeys and kind of protect their creative spirits. So Art Play has been a dream of mine for probably 10 years or more. And we have been in business for 2.5, 3 years. It's been incredible. It started and it took off, and here we are today, but I am certain that Art Play is going to survive this. So before Art Play, I was also a teacher. I've been a teacher for about 20 years now in independent schools, private schools, Waldorf, Montessori, and also a mom. My two greatest little teachers to me. So that's what I do.
So we talked a little bit this morning about what it looks like to parent and to creatively parent and to bring the arts into your home classroom and what that can feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about your philosophy with your studio, your studio as it traditionally stands, and then your work in your home, trying to bring creativity in during this time? So kind of where you start as an artist and educator, right? Your point of entry, and then what that looks like for you right now.
So I think first that creativity is definitely, it's going to be a huge helper to all of us to get through this moment. And it certainly has been for me and my family. We just try to find creativity wherever it is. And that doesn't always look like on a canvas or something that we hang on our walls. We build teepees in our backyard. We paint with mud. Like you can find the simplest things to kind of bring in the creativity, whatever that little spark of joy is for your family. I think right now that we are all trying to, we just need to let go. Creativity can be a stick, it can be drawing with chalk, it can be really simple things that you can find around your house. I really believe that children need to lead their creative parts and their projects. So we take a child-led approach to art. So kind of letting them, following their interest. They like to build teepees. We go out and find the big sticks and ribbons and strings and just build that, or fairy houses. Just try to find the simplest things that they are interested in and then keep building on that.
So what does that look like at your studio? Like children-led creativity. What would a typical session look like? Or paint us a picture, so to speak.
Okay. So we start at actually 10 months old now in the studio, and our baby class has become one of the most popular classes. We try to create a sensory experience, whether that's through color and touch and texture. We have a giant painting wall that you can just kind of let go and just paint with tools and fly swats and rollers and spray bottles. We always have a creative play area, which is cardboard boxes and tubes and tape and paint. We try to find one way for the builders who like to build and blocks and make sculptures. So when the child comes in, this is their studio. And anytime a child comes in here, I tell them that I'm not turning them into an artist by any means, but I want everyone to kind of tap into that creative spirit that we all have, that sometimes gets shut down pretty easy. So the studio is their space, and it's all open. So we kind of follow their lead. And that's for the smaller kids up to age about 5 or 6. And then we have older children and we do guided projects, but we still give them that time to play. So play is super duper important. We have a table of clay and Play-Doh, and most times kids are over there making cookies, and then they go to their cardboard boxes and make restaurants, and they make menus, and it's bringing back play to our lives, which is easily stomped on a little bit just from our natural pace in life. So this is a safe place for them to let go and play and be.
I think right now, especially as a lot of people are experiencing fear and anxiety, and their situations have changed, we can learn a lot from what you're saying about play.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were talking about earlier today about this idea of grace, and what you mentioned earlier, like letting go.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you have any advice for adults or children when it comes to creating space for play?
Yes, and it's not easy. I'll be the first to admit that it's not easy, that we as parents just kind of have to twist our heads a little bit in our thoughts of what things should look like, and just let that go, and a little bit leave the agenda and the tutorials to kids, and kind of just follow their lead. And an example is my daughter is really into spies right now. And she's got her spy book, and she's doing fingerprints around, and she's writing these stories, and she's, just kind of observing her environment around her house. And she's become a spy, but it's become this whole and important part of play for her. but she's also writing and she's reading things, and she's just using that imagination that is vital for all of us throughout our lives. So that's an example, but just kind of letting go of what you feel like art should look like, and just really giving children the space to play. And then you can come up with the projects of what that could be.
You and I have talked about finding household objects in order to be creative. And you mentioned some of those. You talked about sticks. We've talked, you mentioned fabric. I think when we've talked in the past, you mentioned like using your spice cabinet. You talked about toilet paper rolls. Toilet paper is a big thing right now. We all know.
Right.
What are some other household materials that you think, okay, if you don't have art supplies,
right,
you want to get creative?
Yes. Right. So we don't have, all of us have a stocked cabinet of supplies. So you just have to kind of think, what could this be? Even turning your table into a fort. Forts, or, get down to the most simple things. Getting your chalk and crushing it up and putting water in it, and kids will mix and mix. Isabel's really into potion making right now. So a little food coloring, old jars, water, dirt, leaves. Also going on nature walks and just finding the color in your neighborhoods is a huge and easy way to bring in art. Still life drawings, mud pies. Just get back to the basics that are the simplest and free supplies that we have.
That's fun. Yeah. That's great advice. Yeah. Sometimes we think we have to have all of these special tools.
And no, flashlights and shadows, or again, forts can go on forever. Tape and cardboard. Just bring out your old, scrappy bottles and lids and play games. There's a lot around you. We just kind of look at everything a little bit different.
That's right. That's a great point. You just have to look at things a little differently in order to see their potential. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So and again, if people have questions, please send them our way, or if they have ideas for other household items to use, that's helpful. I want to circle back to your story. When you were talking about, you've been an educator for 20 years, you decided, okay, I've had this dream, I want to make it happen. What was that process like for deciding, okay, now's the time to start a business? How many staff members do you have? How does that look for you, that whole process of entrepreneurship in the arts?
Yeah, it's been an interesting ride, and it all just kind of came together magically. I really dreamed it up for years and years. You can ask my family and my husband. I wrote list after list. We just kind of brainstormed what art play would be for so many years. And then, I had my kids and I stayed home for a while with them, and we would do things that we do at art play in our backyard, and friends would bring kids over and we would be, painting and cardboard building and all the things in our house. So then I've never been able to let the idea go, that I just really am passionate that children need a space to let go and to be, and that, that's not always, they can't do that in schools. It's not always an option for space and time and financial reasons. So I just believe that we need to give them the space to do that. So it's just the space here in the warehouse block came open, which is like 2 blocks down from my house. And it was kind of a really terrible time for us to start a business, but the space was so perfect that it all just fell in place and it took off. So that's kind of how art play came about. And then it's grown. We have 4 other teachers, and everybody's part-time teachers. Art play's open 7 days a week. We do about 6 or 7 birthdays a weekend. We have classes, 3 classes a day. We have open studios and workshops. And we just recently did the community sign project, which was really special.
Tell us about that. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so I think one of my mission for the studio is to help kids feel like they can become they can use their art to be their voice, or they can use their art to help someone in need, or the art's not always just on your refrigerator, that we just try to work and bring joy to our communities. So we've done that a few times. I don't know if you've seen our slow down signs and let you play signs. So signs in yards have always been my thing for a lot of fun. And I love selfishly driving around and seeing them. So Ashlyn, I thought, what can I do when this happened? When the whole, like, I have to keep moving. I had this momentum to keep trying to help bring art to our community. So the sign project came up, but then I thought, not everyone has paper at their house. So you got to have the supplies. So I called Ashland Elementary, and they were so nice to donate some white paper rolls, their bulletin board paper. And we just started cutting 6 feet rolls, and my kids and I started delivering, and Shane delivering them around the neighborhood to help to just let families do what they wanted with them, make signs, make an inspirational message, paint a big heart, just something that as our community drives by, that we can all kind of unite through this, and has something that just gives us hope. So the signs were awesome. I think we delivered 65 around town in the neighborhood, and then we put rolls out for anybody who wanted in Lexington to come by and get it. And then we decided, how about if anybody wants something, they can donate to the feed program. And thank you to you for donating. And we raised about $800 for children's food backpack program. This was another awesome part of that program. So,
some signs are still up all over the neighborhoods. I've seen them.
They're really happy. They love them.
They're really happy. And I love what you said about art bringing a voice for children.
Yes, I think, yes. And if they can just keep on learning, the art is such a vital part of their, of their world and their life, that it's going to be good.
And that it doesn't have to look a certain way. There's not a certain process.
Yeah, whatever it is, just it's theirs, and it's pretty special. So, yeah.
And the other signs that you all created, or you were the catalyst for creating, because I think some people, I think my boyfriend created his own. I'm not sure, or some neighborhood children who really liked him made it for him. But your other signs are all over the place still. The wooden signs that say "slow down."
Yeah, that was like 4 years ago, 4 or 5. Pax was going to kindergarten, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be riding his little scooter to kindergarten. We got to put some slow down signs around people. So yeah, that took off. They were all over Lexington, and that was super fun. And then here at Art Play, we have a kindness camp, and or a kindness class, and kids find ways to use art to be kind. And they've been taking political signs, the old political signs, and making signs that say peace, or be kind, or we love you, or just something that they can stick in their front yards. So I think it's a really special and fun, they feel proud of way to use their art.
And it's great because sometimes political signs can be kind of divisive in neighborhoods, depending if people have different visions for their politics. So it turns those into really positive
cycle that stuff up
indicators. And plus, they're hard. Some of them are very difficult to recycle.
Yes. Yeah. Living Lex has been donating them to us. So that was really nice. Yeah.
Well, let me see if we have any questions. I'm going to pause. Okay, here's one that's come in.
Okay.
So, and maybe this is still a work in progress, this question, but if people wanted to help the studio, how could they help? And what are your needs right now? What are your thoughts about that, Jarah?
Awesome. I've been thinking really hard about this, and about what I do need. And what I do need is to help others right now. So that's one thing the signs came from. And I also just need to feel connected to our to Lexington and to our families. We had so many families that have been coming here for years, little babies that I've seen grow up. So I really miss them. So I think just, in our social media, just keeping us connected and sharing our art, sharing our work, or liking it. But I'm also, it's really important that I just kind of slow down for a minute and be with my family and get us settled and all of us ease into whatever this new reality is. So to be patient with me for a minute. I just want to like throw out all these art projects and what we could do, but we're all struggling to make sure that to get through these days or whatever's happening. But so that's one thing. We always have gift cards, and just to cheer us on and know that they'll be back with us is good. But we do want to help children who need our help right now with art supplies. So if anyone wanted to reach out and connect with Art Play in a way of who really needs some things that we could donate, I would love that too.
That's very kind. And you brought up a good point about slowing down and being with yourself and with your own process as a business owner and with your family. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes there's this feeling like, okay, well, I need to figure out what's next. I need to figure out what this could look like in a digital space. And you've worked really hard to build a really tactile space that people enter into.
Exactly.
And the hope is that once we're able to reconvene and figure out what that could look like, you have that space again. And that's what you've worked hard to build. And that, there's some nodes in the community where the art that's being created is now bringing kindness and bringing positive messaging. And that's so valuable. I love the kindness camp too.
All right. I hope our summer camps can last and go. We have to do that this summer. Yeah. I think, what is most important is that Art Play is still helping the children who need it most. I applaud everyone who's gone virtual and digital. I haven't gotten there yet, and perhaps I will, but it's been a little bit of a struggle of what do I do next when I'm not quite sure what feels exactly right, but I do know helping other children. So if anybody out there wants to connect with Art Play or knows where a child could really use our help, email me, please.
We've had another question that is kind of a larger question about the arts in Lexington. Mm-hmm. Do you have thoughts about how, as a community and as a city, we could better support the arts? Are there some spaces that you've recognized where you think, okay, there's some space here to do better?
Right. You know what? I think Lexington really does an amazing job with the arts, with our murals that are around, and On the Move Art Studio, just reaching out to so many, and there's other art studios. I think us all just trying to come together and really support it. I feel like there's a good amount of connection that does happen that we just need to keep supporting. And cheering on those artists that need us, and appreciating all the artists around. Do you have any thoughts on that? What do you think about? You're an artist.
I've been thinking about that a lot because I said to someone, this isn't visual art, but to me it's very similar. I said to someone, it's National Poetry Month this month. It's April. And they said, kind of jokingly, but not exactly, like, is there any space for poetry right now? We're in a lot of darkness. And I said, yes, this is exactly when we need poetry, and this is exactly when we need the arts. And I think that when we come out on the other side of this time, whatever that looks like and whatever that means for us, we have to remember how to protect and how to elevate the arts.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, were talking about the front yard art show has really taken off, and it seems like people who have never really thought about art before, some people are just really, it's really therapeutic for them to get out and do this. So I know we saw a lot of people driving up and down our streets.
That's right. And it sounds like the folks in our community who organize the Front Yard Art Show are doing another one in a month. So if people felt like they didn't have enough time to make the art they wanted to make or to round up the materials, then they have a couple more weeks, or to add on to their masterpieces that are already existing. Some of the pieces are very cool and involved. And I was saying to Jarah earlier, my own home office is also like my art studio. And I thought, wow, I have so many years, like a decade of intentions right here in this room. So many art supplies. So now's the time, if you have a little bit of space and you think, I don't exactly know how to be creative. The Front Yard Art Show, all types of pieces were made, and some of them were just made out of paper. I mean, they're all these beautiful, like origami swans or butterflies. We all have some extra paper, especially if we brought this up last time, but if people haven't been running their recycling down to the Herald Leaders or any other recycling facilities, then they have the materials to make fans and to make garlands,
Yeah, just clean out those garages, right?
Yeah. And it's just a reminder, like, things don't have to be perfect,
Right.
to be created.
And to let go, just let go and hang it up there. Have fun. I think it's hard to have a little bit of fun right now, but just to kind of let go and as much as.
So, Jarah, is there anything that we haven't talked about? We mentioned a couple of other initiatives. We talked about the Front Yard Art Show. We talked about On the Move Art Studio and other art studios. Your all's work with Ashland, and then your fundraiser with Feed. Are there any other things just off the top of your head that you've noticed that you want to share with people that we haven't brought up? I don't know.
I think what I hope for everyone, including myself, is that we slow down for a minute and just enjoy our children, those of us that are parents, and let this pressure go of this NTI and this pressure of schedules, and just really try to enjoy our children as much as we can. It's not as easy said or done with working parents in this. I know this is causing a lot of stress for a lot of people, but if you could find one moment of the day to just kind of play and let go and just really find a way to bring joy with your child in a new way, new exciting way, make something or play something or build a fort, go on a flashlight walk, something.
Flashlight, yeah, that's a good idea.
With flashlights at night and spot things. We're going on a camouflage walk later.
What's a camouflage walk?
We're going to find something that's camouflage. Maybe a bird. We don't know. Isabel and I have a plan.
Well, I think these are all great ideas, and some of the ideas that you're bringing up about walking also brings us to what we're going to talk about next week. So today we've talked about creativity and the arts and supporting your community and play and children and how to be kind to yourself in this process, and small business ownership, many, many different topics. And next week we are going to talk about the urban canopy and about trees and urban forestry. So we can bring more information if you guys do a tree identification walk. This might be part of that. Yeah. Jarah, I'm so glad that you came to talk to me today and to share more with our community. I'm so impressed with the work that you all are doing and the play and creativity that are so essential to your work. They're so important to all of us.
I appreciate it.
So I thank you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone who tuned in. And we'll put a link to Jarah's Art Play Children's Studio so that if people want more information and to connect with her differently, they have that opportunity. So,
thank you all. Thank you.
you.